In this series of videos, I think I'm going to make a video game. I think I'm going to make a Tic Tac Toe game using SFML. And I'm just doing this from scratch. I have no plan, and I really have no idea what I'm going to do. But I thought it would be good for people to witness the way programmers work when they're developing stuff. So yeah, let's just make a game and we'll see how it comes out. Now I already have an SFML template in my Visual Studio, and if you don't know how to make one, there is a video on my channel that I made that shows you how to do that. But I'm just going to create a new project here in Visual Studio, and I'm going to scroll down until I find my SFML template. Wow, there's a lot of templates here. Okay, so here's a SFML application. So I'm just going to click Next. We're going to call this Tic Tac Toe, and we'll create. First thing I want to do is just run this program and make sure it works. It is a template, so it does have a main file already set up, and all the libraries and things should be connected. So when I hit go, I should get a green circle on an SFML window. Good. So there we go. We have a green circle. Our SFML template is working. So that's a good thing. Now, I guess the first thing I'd like to do is just set this window to be square-shaped. Tic-Tac-Toe is a square-shaped game, so maybe I'll go 800 by 800. Of course, we can change this. Okay, so now we have a square window. Doesn't really look square, but I'm going to trust it for now. So a tic-tac-toe game has X's and O's. So I'm going to look at the SFML documentation to see how hard it is to create text, like the letter X or the letter O. Or if it would be better to, create like a sprite for the X and O if I want it to look nice. Let's just go to the API documentation and we'll look at topics maybe. Graphics module. There's text, yeah, so look at the graphics module. So there is SF text, graphical text that can be drawn to a render target. Let's just take a look at that. It's got regular, bold, italic, underline, strike through. Okay, can construct it with a string and a font and a character size. There's fill color, outline color. Actually, I like this a lot. I think this is going to be useful. How would we draw one to the screen? Create a font, create a text with the font, set our style, and then draw. I gotta look up how to load a font from a file because I don't know where we are going to be getting these fonts and stuff from. Load from stream, load from memory, load from file. Alright, so let's look at our repo that just got created. Let's create a folder in here called fonts. And then let's grab a font from Windows, which might be in font settings. Let's pick one that would look nice with X's and O's. Maybe Verdana. There's the font file path. So I'm going to go to that path. I'm going to go to C, Windows, Fonts. And fonts is always weird how it opens. I'm going to look for verdana.ttf. I'm going to copy that font. And then I'm going to go to my repo, tic-tac-toe, fonts. And then I want to see what happens if I paste. So there's our font. Looks like there's a bold, italic. I don't know what the Z stands for. So let's copy this path. Copy as path. That's you shift and right click to get this option. And let's see if we can make a font. SF font Verdana. And what did the documentation say to do? Default constructor and then load from file. Okay. So then we're going to say font Verdana load from file. We'll paste in that path. Now this is C++, so we either need to do double slashes or do a raw string literal. I'll do a raw string literal. I think the parentheses go inside the quotes when you do a raw string literal. Yes, that looks good. Okay. So in theory, we have a font that we can use here. Let's go back to the text. Now we create a text. Just call SF text. So SF text. We'll call this text. We'll do X first. We'll do X, capital X. We'll do the Verdana font. And it's already set to 30 as its size, the default argument. Let's just use that, I guess. Let's see what we can set. Character size, color, fill color. There's probably outline color. Yeah, let's set the fill color to red. Let's try the outline color. White. Let's draw that text and see what happens. So I think we need to go down to, I don't want to draw that green circle anymore. In fact, I'm going to get rid of that green circle. We'll do window.draw text X. Let's run this and see if an X comes up. Okay, there it is. I don't see a white outline though. Maybe I need a thickness. By default, the outline thickness is 0. Yeah, let's make it 2. It's a floating point value, so we'll say 2.f. And obviously I'm going to want these text to be a lot bigger if we're going to be playing some Tic Tac Toe, but ooh, there it is. That looks cool. Let's make this really big. Let's double the size of this text. Let's make it 60 instead of 30. See what that does. Wow, I could make this even bigger. Let's double it again. 120. Make it huge. Huge. Oh man, that looks cool. Okay. So there's our X. Let's draw an O just to see what the O looks like. There we go. And there's an O. If we wanted to change the color to green for the O, we could do that. Awesome. So we can just use SF text to do our X's and O's. So that's going to make life pretty easy, I think. I'd like to create a class called marker because we're going to be wanting to put more than one X and one O on a board. We want to be putting a lot of stuff on a board. And I think SFML, if I remember, has the concept of a drawable, which can inherit from some of their stuff and easily be drawn to the screen. An SF drawable is an abstract base class for objects that can be drawn to a render target. So I think this is what I want to inherit from. There's a draw function that we're going to have to implement. All you have to do in your drive class is to override the draw virtual function. Inheriting from drawable is not mandatory, but it allows this nice syntax window.drawObject rather than object.drawWindow. That sounds fine. Our target is going to be a text, so we should be able to just make that simple call. Yes, so let's inherit from public SF drawable. Which means we're going to have to, private, override the draw function. So I just copied this from the SFML page. Okay. I should probably need the SF namespace for these guys. Okay. Cool. I'm probably going to move this draw file, well, this whole marker class to a different file, but for right now, let's just implement it by doing this target draw, and I'm following what they did here, which is a drawable. I can use a drawable in the state. So let's do mtext. We're we're going to create a member function we'll call text. Just like that. So let's do an SF text, M text. And then let's make a constructor for marker that takes either the X or the O. And let's take that as a enum class. So let's make an enum class marker. What do I want to call it? Maybe a mark? Yeah, I like that. O and X. So we'll take a mark to construct this class. And in the constructor, I don't know if we need to load this font every time, or if it would be better to pass the font through. I guess it could be a static variable. Let's try that. A static variable font, because I'm not going to want different fonts for different marks. That would just be weird. So let's do mfont load from file. But then it's going to load from file every time. I wonder if there's a test to see if it's already loaded. Not really. How do I want to do this? Let's make it global, just for net. Do I want to make it global? Globals are always bad, right? I mean, they're not always bad, but we could make a singleton that tracks game state. Since this is just a single game that we're going to be playing. How do I do a singleton again? C++. I always come to this refactoring guru site and use some of their patterns because they're pretty nifty. This class behaves incorrectly in a multi-threaded environment. This is Tic Tac Toe. I don't plan on using multiple threads. Yeah, let's grab this singleton. This might or might not be the best way, but it is Tic Tac Toe. It's pretty simple, so probably won't get in too much trouble here. And I'll call this class, instead of singleton, I'll call it game state. Just copying anywhere it said singleton, I'm going to change it to game state. Let's get rid of all these comments and such. Value. I don't think we need that member variable. I think that was just for their example. I actually like to do public variables at the top. And I think we can do private. We're not going to be inheriting from this game state. Game state. Still some more to copy and change. Game state. Okay. So my game state will have a font. We'll call it M font. Yes. And in the constructor, we'll load that font. And where was that file at? Right there. Good. Yes. I think I'm liking this, actually. I think this is going to be good. So I can delete this stuff. And in my marker, we'll say mtext equals sftext. We'll switch on the mark type first. So if it's O, we'll create an O. But this is going to be game state, get instance, and we need a font, get font. Return M font. Instance, get font. I think that's going to be nice. If it's X, we'll change this to an X, and the color will be based, the fill color will be based on the mark as well. So if it's an X, let's do green. If it's an O, or if it's an O, let's do green. If an X, let's do red. Now, if I want to be able to move these markers around, I think I need to also inherit from a class that has stuff like set position and different things. Graphics module, transformable, decompose transform defined by position, rotation, and scale. SF transformable can be used as a base class. It is often combined with SF drawable. That's what SFML sprites, text, and shapes do. And it looks like you just add this transform line and you inherit from transformable. Let's try that right in the draw. Get transform is undefined, but it's because we haven't inherited from transformable yet. Public SF transformable. Okay, so in theory, I should be able to create a marker. Create an O first. I called it X and said let's create it O. Let's do marker O. And let's set the position to, I don't know, 100, 100. Oops. And let's make another marker called marker X. Let's set its position to 200. 200. Let's see if we can draw them both. We'll draw marker O and marker X. Let's see what happens. Something crashed. Okay. What crashed? Get my call stack pulled up here. I don't know. Let's put a breakpoint here and make sure my font's getting loaded. Okay, yeah, the font is getting loaded. Hopefully successfully. Return true. Okay. Yeah, so there's my font. Okay. Yep, looks good. Okay, I want to create a text string. I can't tell if this string has a value or not. Oh, there it is. There's the O, yes. The O is there. The font is there. Character size is there. Okay, so that's good. Outline color, thickness. Set position. But we crash when we try to draw the O. Okay. Let's see if we can try to figure this out. Texture and shader are null. I don't know if that matters or not. Let's just step in. Get transform. Position 100, 100. Okay. So that was okay. But why won't it draw? Ensure geometry update. That's where it crashes. Alright, let's look at the documentation for text again. It's important to note that SF text doesn't copy the font it uses, and it keeps a reference to it. Wonder if that's the problem. Wonder if we need to change our get font method here to return a reference. I don't think that's probably the problem. That was the problem. Okay. So, you cannot give a font to a text by copy. It's got to be by a const reference. But there we go. We got our X's and we got our O's. Boy, those look pretty nice actually. And let's just see if like mouse updates and stuff work. So I'm gonna make the X marker position depend on my mouse position. So we'll just do this. Marker X set position. SF mouse. Get position. Maybe like that. X. SF mouse. Get position. Y. Okay, so mouse pose equals mouse pose dot X, mouse pose dot Y. Those are ints. I would like to cast them to floats first, just to make it explicit what I'm doing. Not strictly necessary, but let's see if the X moves around with my mouse now. Oh. It's like shifted. Woo! Why is it shifted? Why is it shifted? Window module? Mouse? Oh, gets the current position of the mouse in desktop coordinates. Gets the current position of the mouse in window coordinates. I have to pass the window to this function. So, window. There we go. Okay. A lot of stuff to think about. Oh. Resizing still makes it shift around weirdly. In fact, I don't even want to be able to resize it because it's Tic Tac Toe. Let's see if there's a way to set the window not resizable. So I guess it depends on if resize gets passed into the window. There's some options we can give it. Let's pass in, we do want a title bar, SF style. Okay. And if this is like any other style functions I've ever used, you just put the vertical bar between them. Do I need to provide the close button, the close style? Let's just go with title bar and see what happens. Yeah, there's no close button now. What if I use a little squiggle on the resize? Will that make resize go away and keep everything else? Whoa. Yo, it went full screen. Crap. How do I get off here? Oh my goodness. Close. Oh, there. Okay, that's not what I want. So we'll do title bar, SF style, close. Will that give me a title bar and a close X? I want to be able to close. I think I do. Yeah, there you go. And okay. Now resize is dead. So that's cool. Alright. I think that's where I'm going to stop for now. So in the next video, we'll work on making this into an actual game. Alright. See you next time.